The system told me to humiliate the villain, a poor scholarship student. But I was a total coward. All I could manage was to meekly slide the chicken drumstick from my bowl onto his tray and mumble, "I already took a bite, so you'd better eat it." The villain's cold, menacing gaze faltered, just slightly. I thought I'd done it. I thought I had succeeded. Later, when I found out his mother was hospitalized and urgently needed money for treatment, I hesitated. Then, trying to stay in character, I handed him a bank card. "Kneel down," I said softly, almost whispering, "be my dog. Wipe my shoes." His eyes dimmed. And yet, he knelt. He gently took hold of my ankle, Adam's apple bobbing. "Okay." Afterward, the system came to check on my progress as the so-called vicious supporting character. Trying to sound convincing, I raised my hand and lightly slapped him across the face, just once. His expression remained quiet, restrained. His voice, low and rough. I smirked proudly. "See? He's completely humiliated." The system snorted. "You idiot." He liked it. "What?" I froze. And in the next moment, I felt a warm, tingling sensation creep across my fingertips. I'd been in this transmigrated world for a month now. Still just as cowardly as ever. The system was exasperated. "Seriously? What are you waiting for? You're supposed to be a spoiled heiress, why are you afraid of a poor student? Go. Humiliate him. Show him how cruel society can be." I whispered nervously, What am I supposed to do? How do I even bully someone? Before I came here, I was the definition of a good girl. I didn't know how to bully anyone. And I was timid too. Just seeing Michael Jackson's muscular arms scared the hell out of me. Rumor had it he fought in illegal underground matches, like he had no regard for his life. I was terrified that a single swing from him would knock me flat. Right now, he was quietly eating in the cafeteria. His tray only had steamed buns and free pickled vegetables. The system urged me, "Quit dawdling. Go knock over his tray. Make him lick his food off the floor." Taking a deep breath, I carried my lavish lunch and walked straight to Michael Jackson. He looked up. Expressionless, he glanced at me, then looked back down to continue eating. I snarled his name. "Michael." He lifted his eyelids and raised a brow ever so slightly. He didn't speak, just stared at me. The pressure was intense. My hand trembled as I picked up the chicken drumstick I had bitten and dropped it into his bowl. "I already took a bite. You have to eat it." I immediately felt I had gone too far. How could I force the villain to eat something I had already eaten? That was truly degrading. Flustered, I met his eyes and snapped, "What are you looking at? Don't you know how much I hate you? I'm not eating any of this. You'd better lick it clean." The cafeteria went dead silent for a few seconds. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end, because I clearly saw Michael's knuckles turning white. I really had gone too far. The next second, Michael reached out, and I instinctively flinched. But all he did was slowly pick up the drumstick. Under my stunned gaze, he bit down, right where I had taken a bite. Why did you eat it?" His Adam's apple moved as he swallowed, and for some reason, the motion made my cheeks burn. Wasn't that what the young lady wanted? That reaction completely threw me off. I opened my mouth, but the cruel lines I had prepared all caught in my throat. You. He narrowed his eyes slightly, wiped his hands, and stood up. He leaned close to my ear. "Does the young lady want to watch me lick it clean?" "Who wants to watch?" My ears burned. I shoved him aside and bolted out of the cafeteria. The system was speechless. "Why are you running? You're acting like you're the one being bullied. A new plot point is coming, his mom's sick. Go throw money at him and make him your dog." Swallowing my nerves, I asked the butler to prepare a bag of cash. Dressed impeccably, I arrived at Michael's home. A rundown part of the inner city. I raised my hand to knock, but the door suddenly opened from the inside. The system scoffed. "You're so polite. Why not just kick it open? You look like you're here to deliver warmth and kindness. Michael's lips were pale, and he froze when he saw me. I remembered the system's words and summoned my courage. Before he could speak, I jumped in. "I heard your mom's sick and needs $500,000 for surgery." Before I could finish, Michael shot me a look. "You investigated me?" I was so startled I forgot what I was going to say. The system shouted in my head. "What are you babbling for? Throw the money in his face. Humiliate him hard." I hyped myself up mentally. Then suddenly hurled the bag of cash at his chest. The bills scattered everywhere, a few fluttering into the house. "So what?" "Kneel down and pick them up." My voice trembled. "Be my dog, and you can use this money to save your mom." Michael stood motionless, jaw clenched tightly. The hallway was eerily quiet, only the sound of his heavy breathing remained. Then, a weak cough echoed from inside the house. Michael's body visibly stiffened. The swirling storm in his eyes calmed instantly. He slowly crouched down, one knee to the floor, and began picking up the scattered bills with long, slender fingers, one by one. This was the same man who used to beat his opponents into submission in underground fight rings. Now, with his head lowered, his voice was scarily calm. Okay. Even the system couldn't help but praise me. He must be feeling utterly humiliated right now. He's pretending to agree, but deep down, he probably wants to kill you. Emboldened by success, I pushed my foot toward him. This dump made my shoes dirty. Clean them for me. Michael looked up. His eyes were dark and unreadable. Joyce White, do you even know what you're doing? It was the first time he called me by name. My heart skipped a beat. In the original story, the villain held grudges. Once he gained power, anyone who had offended him met a terrible end. And I was first on the list. I whimpered, whoa. I'm scared. Oh no. I pissed him off. I'm so dead. The system cursed. I just praised you, and now you're chickening out again. Once the plot's over, you'll be free from this world. By the time he gains power, he won't even be able to find you. What are you scared of? Be fierce. Oh. That made sense. I puffed up again and tapped his knee with my shoe tip on purpose. Who gave you permission to talk to me like that? Michael, don't you want to save your mother? A disobedient dog, maybe I'll return you. Michael closed his eyes, Adam's apple bobbing violently. He looked like he wanted to crush me with his bare hands. And if he thought I was trash, I'd just slink away like trash. But after a moment, he suddenly knelt again. I backed away in fear, but he grabbed my ankle. His palm was warm and dry, it made my whole body shiver. I stammered, what are you doing? I tried to pull back my foot, but he held on even tighter. Didn't the young lady want her shoes cleaned? Why are you flinching? He curved his lips slightly, lifted his shirt, revealing his defined abs. I stared wide-eyed as he used the hem of his shirt to gently wipe the tip of my shoe. We were so close I could smell the faint scent of soap on him. Even the outline under his gray sweatpants was barely visible. My face burned. The spot on my ankle he touched felt like it had caught fire. My skirt's dirty too, he said hoarsely, his fingers brushing lightly along my calf. Shall I help the young lady take it off and wash it? And no need. Panicking, I pulled my foot away, fished out a bank card, and flung it on the ground. Who told you to talk so much? Move into my house. My dog should live with me, available 24/7. With that, I fled the scene. Back in my room, I buried myself in my pillow. The system spoke again, the most important plot point has finally been completed. That bold exit of yours? Pretty cool. But, is it possible I ran so fast just because I was scared he'd hit me? Oh, by the way, I picked up a side gig. You're on your own from here. Just remember, command him around. Humiliate him. Got it. I hummed in response. And then the system vanished. That night, I woke up thirsty and padded downstairs barefoot to get some water. Right as I turned the corner, I ran into Michael. What are you doing here? The butler had reported earlier that his mother had already been transferred to a hospital and was under proper care. Michael had stayed at the hospital until 10 p.m. before leaving. No one knew where he had gone after that. Now he'd suddenly appeared, and I instinctively clutched my chest. Showing up in the middle of the night like this, you trying to scare me to death? Kneel down and apologize to me. After playing out so many scenes today, I had already mastered the art of the heiress persona. Michael's gaze was deep, even more intimidating in the dark. I suddenly regretted it. Maybe I should just ignore him and leave. But before I could walk away, the ground slipped out from under me. I lost my balance, and instinctively threw my arms around his neck. Furious, I grabbed his hair. Pervert! How dare you touch me? I'll punish you. He gently put me down and let me stand on his shoes, his voice raspy. The floor is cold. I glanced down. My ears burned. The soft slippers beneath my feet were the ones I had ordered the servants to prepare for him. How does the young lady plan to punish me? His burning hot hand wrapped firmly around my waist. The wave of shame surged so fast, I smacked him across the face. Bad dog. You're not allowed to touch me on your own. Michael's head tilted sideways from the blow. His tongue pressed against the roof of his mouth. A shadow darkened his gaze. I thought, that's it. I'm dead. But then I noticed a smear of dried blood on the other side of his face. What happened to your face? My heart softened. I reached out and gently touched it. Does it hurt? Michael's breath hitched. His fingers curled into fists. You went to fight again, didn't you? He said nothing. But his hands didn't stop moving. He lifted me into a bridal carry and placed me on the sofa. Then found a pair of slippers and slipped them onto my feet. Just as he was about to leave, I yanked at his shirt. Underneath, bruises and old scars marked his skin. I gave you money. Why are you still doing such dangerous things? He calmly pulled his shirt back down. Looking straight at me, he asked, "Is the young lady worried about me?" Of course not. Don't get any weird ideas. I only keep you around as my dog for fun. But only I get to bully you. No one else is allowed. He swallowed hard. His eyes were dark and unreadable. It made my heart race. I stood up to escape his gaze and tossed the first aid kit at him. "Heal up and serve me properly. If I catch you getting hurt again, I'll replace you." As I climbed the stairs, I heard his quiet reply behind me. "Got it. The young lady can bully me however she wants." Michael was busy. He had school. He had to care for his mother. And he was now my personal bodyguard. Every day, I ordered him around non-stop. He had to wake up before me, prepare my breakfast. After I took a few bites, I'd toss the rest at him. "You only deserve what I don't want to eat." On rainy days, I insisted on stepping through puddles. When he bent down to give me a piggyback ride, I'd complain his clothes weren't soft enough. And yet, I always ended up climbing onto his back. "You're poking me to death. Tell the butler to buy you some better-looking clothes before I let you carry me again." Whenever it thundered at night, he had to sleep on a floor mat in my room, talking with me until I fell asleep. "If you dare fall asleep before me, I'll punish you by not letting you use a blanket." I was awful. Michael's mother's surgery was a success. When she was discharged from the hospital, I tossed a key at him. "Don't go back to that dump. Climbing those stairs last time nearly broke my legs. This apartment may not match my status as an heiress, but at least it has an elevator. Don't make your mom collapse halfway up the stairs. I'll end up paying for her funeral. All those health supplements I don't want, take them. Make sure she eats them on time. If they expire, I'll punish you by not letting you eat at the table." He stared at me, the corners of his eyes tinged faintly red. He'd been abused by me for so long. He must feel utterly humiliated. I huffed and tilted my chin. "Once you're done, hurry back and help me finish the group project." "Yes, young lady." I allowed him to stay with his mom for a few days. But that night, I couldn't sleep. Tossed and turned endlessly. Thought about calling him, then remembered, I gave him a break. Like I cared. I sent a message anyway. "Ugh, your stupid cat won't stop meowing outside my window. You only get 3 days of vacation." It was raining outside. I curled up under the covers. I had taken away the time he should have had to be with his mother. No more family bonds, he was bound to turn dark. The more I thought about it, the more evil I felt. The system would definitely praise me for it. Hee hee. I fell asleep, feeling proud of myself. In the middle of the night, I vaguely felt some movement around me. I was a deep sleeper, the kind of person who could sleep through a funeral procession outside my window. So I didn't even notice when Michael entered my room in the pouring rain. Quietly, he placed a glass of warm water by my bedside. He sat on the floor beside my bed, held my hand, and kissed it. Then gently laid it down again and tucked me in. "The cat's fine. It's been in the pet room this whole time." "Did the young lady miss me?" Just before he left, he pulled me into his arms. Held me tight. Like he couldn't bear to let go. For 3 whole nights. When I woke up the next morning, it felt like I'd been beaten up in my sleep. My whole body was sore. There was a strange heat at the top of my thigh. And I kept dreaming of snakes. They wrapped around me tightly in the dream. Brushing against my lips, whispering at my ear. When I couldn't breathe, the voice suddenly turned into Michael's. "Be good. Don't bite." I tried to push him away, only to hear his hoarse voice again. "Stick out your tongue." And no. I smacked him with my palm. But even my fingertips, the center of my palms, the inside of my thighs, it all tingled and itched. As if tiny ants were kissing every inch of my skin. When I saw Michael, I blushed for no reason, and couldn't stop myself from grumbling. "Come here and rub my shoulders. They're killing me." He was wearing an apron at the time, placing a freshly fried egg on the table. Total husband material. When he heard me, he obediently walked behind me. Expression calm, voice cool and clear. "Where does it hurt, young lady?" I rolled my neck a little. "Right here." His warm hand landed on my shoulder. "It's really tight. Just relax. I'll be gentle." A strange tingle spread across my skin. "Young lady, don't clench. I'm stuck." "Okay. Not there. A bit lower." His hand slowly slid down my spine. "Here? Then I'll press harder. Can the young lady handle it? If you hurt me, you're dead meat." His fingers roamed gently, slowly exploring. Then he pressed down. A very indecent sound escaped my lips. I scrambled to change the subject. "Lately, I've been feeling like there's something behind me when I sleep. It must be your cat, dragging toys into my room." I reached back to grab it and touched something soft and hard. It was hot too. "That must be the electric toy you got him, right?" Michael's hand paused briefly behind me. His voice came out hoarse. "It's mine." I knew it. I turned around, leaned over the back of the chair, and started scolding him. From now on, don't let it heat up. He pursed his lips, the tips of his ears faintly red. About that? I don't think I can promise. I was about to snap at him when I suddenly noticed his breathing had turned heavier. His dark eyes were brimming with emotions I couldn't read. Why not? I asked, suspicious. Michael's gaze dropped, to the sliver of skin exposed by the neckline of my pajama top. Young lady. His voice was lower than usual. His fingers absent-mindedly traced the edge of the chair. That toy, actually. Host, I'm back. So, how's the mission been this past year? The system's sudden voice cut Michael off instantly. I got excited. He's totally my dog now. I've got him wrapped around my finger. He must hate me to death by now. Huh? You? That cowardly mess? And you pulled that off? Worried the system wouldn't believe me, I reacted on instinct. Just as Michael reached out to help adjust my clothes, I slapped him across the face. His expression barely flinched, his voice low and raspy. Young lady, what does this mean? I gloated. See? He's completely humiliated. Bet he wants to kill me, huh? The system paused, then sneered. You idiot. That slap turned him on. I told you to humiliate him, not reward him. It pulled up a data panel on Michael. Yuri practically seducing the villain at this point. You trying to steal the female lead's job now? Huh? I froze. In the very next moment, a wet, tingling sensation ran across my fingertips. I came back to myself. Michael had grabbed my wrist. His tongue was sliding slowly across the pad of my finger. So warm. So wet. His eyes darkened, and he leaned in, turning his face to the other side. Young lady, shouldn't you slap this side too, for symmetry? The system's tone turned dry and sarcastic. I was gone for 1 year, and this is how you two flirt now? No. I've been framed. Face burning, I shoved Michael away and fled upstairs to change clothes. A vicious heiress and a gloomy villain. Huh. I think I'm starting to ship you two. No way. This must be a mistake. I'll go down later and make him kneel and warm my feet. That should set things straight, right? Not yet. The male lead is about to appear. You need to start sabotaging their relationship. I pointed to myself. Me? I'm supposed to do that. Who else? That's what evil supporting characters do, they ruin everything. System, can you not say things that make people want to die? Williams. Your childhood sweetheart. Same university. Go deliver a love letter. The system issued the new task. I avoided Michael for nearly 10 days. Spent every day trying to get Williams' attention. But strangely, even though we'd been childhood friends, Williams reacted like I was the plague. He ran the moment he saw me. The bento I had someone prepare never made it into his hands. The gifts I sent were all returned, unopened. Even when I showed up at his house, the butler said he wasn't home. Out of options, I followed the system's advice and went to the basketball court, carrying a bottle of water and the love letter. I planned to give it to him after the game. I'd heard the female lead would be there too. Surely she'd get jealous. And in front of so many people, there's no way he'd ghost me, right? The stands were packed with spectators. I stood there with my things, craning my neck in anticipation. As I glanced around, I suddenly spotted Michael standing off to the side. One hand holding a thermos, the other carrying a small cake. His face was dark, his gaze sinister. The system noticed too. Yikes. That aura is pure death. No wonder he's the villain. A chill crept down my back. But I pretended not to see him and turned my eyes to Williams. On the court, Williams landed a beautiful three-pointer, prompting loud cheers. But when his gaze caught mine, he visibly stumbled. The moment the final whistle blew, I rushed toward him. Williams' eyes darted nervously, then he turned and bolted for the locker room. To catch him, I'd have to pass by Michael. Strangely, I felt guilty. I sat in my seat, stalling, not daring to get up. The system urged me. What, are you hatching an egg? If you don't move now, the male lead's gone. I clutched the love letter tightly. Where's the female lead anyway? What if I deliver the letter and she doesn't even see it? I'm only bound to you. I don't know who the heroine is. Just complete the task. The male and female lead are another system's problem. Alright. I took a deep breath. When I looked up again, Michael was surrounded. Well, isn't that Miss White's little dog? Looks like she dumped you. Ha! Joyce White's been chasing Williams lately. Bet she got bored of him. This poor bastard probably thinks he's made it, and now forgets he's trash. My fingers clenched the armrest of my seat. My nails almost pierced the cushion. Why should people be ranked like that, just because of how they were born? Before meeting me, Michael had been fighting for his life just to pay for his mother's treatment. But the crowd got nastier and nastier. One even reached out and shoved his shoulder. "Doggy Michael, heard your mom's hospital bills were all paid by Miss White." The guy leading the pack sneered. "Kneel down and lick my shoes, mutt. Maybe I'll throw you a bone too." Michael didn't move. The thermos in his hand spilled, water dripping onto the ground. It was mine. The little cake dropped and shattered. It was my favorite flavor. His hand curled subtly into a fist. "So spineless. I guess you've been a dog for so long, you forgot you're human." My heart tightened suddenly. The next second, I saw Michael's lips curl into a faint smile, his voice eerily calm. "Yeah. I'm Joyce's dog. She plays with me. I'm fine with it." He raised a hand to wipe the spilled water from his face, his eyes dark and unreadable. "And what are you people? Do you even deserve to talk about her?" That group was enraged. One of them threw a punch at Michael. He could have dodged, but he took the hit head-on, falling hard to the ground. I shot to my feet instantly. "Host, don't move." The system yelled, trying desperately to stop me. This is a crucial villain arc, his pride must be crushed. Michael slid down the wall and sat on the ground, blood dripping from the corner of his lips. And he still smiled, his gaze cutting through the crowd, locking straight onto me. I looked away in a panic, but my chest felt like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. "But they're going too far. This is bullying, outright bullying." "So what? You'd throw away the entire plot just to defend a villain destined to go dark?" More fists landed on him. I could hear the dull thuds of bone meeting bone. He coughed once. Blood splattered on the ground, bright and terrifying. Just as I was about to lose it and rush forward, Michael suddenly looked up and silently mouthed to me, "Don't watch." My heart twisted in pain. "So it's okay for them to bully him?" My voice trembled. "You said I'm the vicious supporting character. That means I get to go up there and teach them a lesson. Can't you tell? He's doing it on purpose. I didn't hear the system at all anymore. I grabbed the water bottle next to my seat and hurled it forward. "Enough. All of you, stop." In the car. I knelt on the leather seat, gently applying antiseptic to Michael's wounds. But he suddenly grabbed my wrist. "Young lady," he rasped, "I'm filthy." "Shut up." After all this time doing missions, I'd become far less polite when talking to him. "If I hadn't stepped in, would you have let them beat you to death? All that muscle, who were you planning to use it on?" I dipped a cotton swab in iodine and disinfected a cut. He obediently tilted his head back, staring straight at me without saying a word. But his breathing had become noticeably heavier. "Does it hurt?" I asked softly. "Yeah." He lowered his head, guiding my hand to his torn lip. "This part hurts the most." My fingertip touched the wound, soft, hot, and still a little wet. I thought of last time. My heart suddenly started racing. Michael's gaze was scorching. I tried to pull my hand away, but he gripped it tighter. "Are you worried about me, young lady?" He whispered, his breath brushing against my fingers. My ears burned. "Who's worried about you? You're my dog. I just don't want anyone else testing my limits." "Yes. I'm the young lady's dog." "Then, can the young lady care for her little dog?" My eyes flickered. The system couldn't help but snark, "TCH gloomy villains are all scheming like this. He could knock out 3 bulls with 1 punch, and here he is playing pitiful. Textbook seduction, dirty tricks. Don't tell me you actually bought it. Just as the system finished, driver Uncle Jordan suddenly swerved. I lost my balance and fell right into Michael's lap. He wrapped an arm around my waist, holding me firmly. "Sorry, miss," Uncle Jordan said calmly. "A kid ran a red light, I had to dodge." He glanced at us through the rearview mirror, coughed twice, then silently raised the privacy divider. My whole body flushed with heat. I tried to push Michael away. But I couldn't get free. His voice whispered by my ear, "Did I do something wrong, to make the young lady angry?" "What? Joyce, I don't like it when you look at other men. All those men out there, they're bad people." I braced against his solid chest. "Including you?" "No. I'm your dog. I'll never betray my owner." The system interrupted at just the right time. "I've been set up, haven't I?" His affection levels at 90. 90. "Host, your parents are still in comas. If you don't finish the mission, they'll never wake up. I froze. The heat all over my body vanished instantly. In my original world, my parents had been in a terrible accident, left in a vegetative state. I'd cried myself unconscious. One day, a voice came to me. If I wanted to save my parents, I could enter a novel world and fulfill the role of the vicious supporting character. So I came here. But I didn't understand, after I had treated Michael so terribly, why was his affection level still that high? Michael seemed to notice my silence. The intensity in his gaze slowly faded. His voice softened. "What is the young lady thinking about? Did I scare you? I promise, I'll never worry you again." So, can the young lady not ignore me anymore? A strange tingling bloomed in my chest. The system sighed. If you don't complete the mission, don't push him to darkness, your parents will die in the other world. Michael was still holding me close, his arms warm, his eyes filled with a tenderness I'd never seen. But the system's words were like a bucket of ice water. They snapped me back instantly. Now that he's in love with you, trampling his dignity and breaking his heart will still count as mission complete. I bit my lip painfully. Can't bring yourself to do it? Then repeat after me. A string of cruel lines floated into my mind. Michael looked at me expectantly. I thought of my parents, lying motionless in their hospital beds. I hardened my heart and shoved him away. You're just a dog. You think I'd worry about you? I moved farther away from him, digging my nails into my palm to keep my face expressionless. Michael, someone like you, low-born trash, you're not even worthy of carrying my shoes. His expression froze. I repeated the lines the system had fed me, mechanically, each word stabbing into his heart like a knife. A toad dreaming of a swan, have you ever looked in the mirror and weighed your worth? I'm a heiress worth billions. And you? You're just a filthy rat from the slums. Michael's eyes gradually dimmed, until they turned into a bottomless black. I didn't dare look at him. I knocked on the divider. Uncle Jordan, stop the car. Get out, you worthless dog. He clenched the hem of his shirt. The blood at the corner of his mouth had already dried. In silence, he turned and opened the door. Before leaving, he looked back at me once, but said nothing. The moment the door shut, my tears finally burst free. The system's voice softened, the villain's stats are flashing red. He's hurt. Curled up on the leather seat, I sobbed uncontrollably, my body trembling. Outside the car window, Michael's silhouette in the rain grew blurrier and blurrier. Don't worry. The heroine will take him in. Just hang on a little longer, once you complete this final mission, you'll get to return and see your parents. For the male lead's birthday party, the system managed to get me an invitation. That's when I finally met the supposed heroine. Dennis. The male and female leads are still in the ambiguous phase. After the villain's dark turn, he'll start a business with the heroine, and she'll eventually heal him. In 5 years, he'll even compete with the male lead for her love. So far, everything's going according to plan. I didn't really feel like listening to the system. After that day, after I cursed Michael, I had the servants throw all his belongings out of the villa. If he was going to leave, then let it be clean. Let it be final. It was better if he never saw me again. Today's mission is simple. Cling to Williams and stir up misunderstandings. Then insult Dennis. Criticize their mismatch. That'll help ignite the heroine's inner growth. Okay. I walked mechanically toward Williams, who was standing by the pool. His eyes widened at the sight of me. He glanced from Dennis to me. He looked like he couldn't wait to bolt. I stopped him. Williams, remember our childhood betrothal? Do you still? I deliberately raised my voice. From the corner of my eye, I saw Dennis go pale. Williams panicked. White, Miss White, that was just a joke our parents made when we were kids. You didn't take that seriously, did you? Besides, don't you already have someone you like? I turned in the direction he pointed. And my heart dropped. Michael stood in the distance, dressed like a waiter, holding a serving tray, his gaze heavy and unreadable as it fell on me. Perfect. In his eyes, you're now the heartless woman who switched sides. Keep crushing him. Throw in some subtle jabs at the heroine. Once done, your task will be complete. I forced myself to lift my chin, casting the most disdainful glance at Michael. A dog like you? Know your place. His hand holding the tray twitched slightly. Williams, our families are equal in status. Don't tell me you're into some slum girl now. I kept pushing. Dennis ran off, and Williams chased after her. Mission complete. The system cheered. You'll be transported back in 1 hour. Your parents will finally wake up. Then it left to report in. I didn't look at Michael again. I turned and walked away. But just as I passed through the corridor, I was suddenly yanked into a side room. My back hit the wall, but Michael's hand caught me before I could fall. His familiar scent wrapped around me. You. What are you doing? Michael pinned one of my wrists above my head with a single hand, his strong legs locking me in place. In the darkness, his breath was hot and ragged. Young lady. I want to lock you away where no one else can ever see you again. My mind went blank. His voice was thick, scorching, possessive. I should have known. This was the villain. This obsessive, dangerous man, I had pushed him too far. You. Before I could finish, his lips crashed onto mine. It wasn't a kiss. It was punishment. His teeth scraped, and it hurt. I struggled desperately, but he only pulled me in tighter. His tongue forced its way into my mouth, wild and urgent. Stop. Every sound I tried to make was swallowed. His hand slid down my waistline, heat seeping through the fabric, making me tremble uncontrollably. But I can't let go, he murmured against my lips, I can't stand seeing you cry. He dove in again. His tongue caressed the roof of my mouth. I bit down hard. Blood filled both our mouths instantly. In the dark, Michael dipped his thumb into the blood and tried to smear it on my lips. I slapped him with everything I had. The sound echoed sharply in the darkness. But Michael only chuckled lowly, pressing his burning cheek against my palm. Another one? Harder this time. Teleportation countdown, 10 minutes. The system's prompt rang suddenly. A stabbing pain pierced my chest. I yanked my hand away. Michael, listen to me, I'm done playing with you. Just looking at you makes me sick. I shoved him away with all my strength. If you want me to spare you a glance, go become a billionaire first. I turned and ran out without looking back. Behind me came the dull thud of a fist slamming into the wall, and the sound of stifled sobs. I wiped my face. But I didn't look back. He would fall in love with the heroine eventually. And I was finally going back to my parents. The moment I opened my eyes, my parents were lying in their hospital beds, smiling gently at me. You're awake. My nose tingled. I threw myself into my mother's arms. You're finally okay? My sweet girl. Taking care of us all this time must have been so hard. Tears streamed down my face. I shook my head quickly. It wasn't hard at all. My mother gently wiped away my tears. Let's go home. In that world, a whole year had passed. But here, only 10 days had gone by. I completed the discharge paperwork for my parents. When I finally tasted Mom's braised pork again, I couldn't hold back the tears. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, baby. Everything's going to be okay, she said, hugging me close. That night, as I undressed for a shower, something clinked as it hit the floor. When I bent down to pick it up, I froze. It was Michael's mother's heirloom ring. He'd told me about it once. When did he slip this into my pocket? The ring gleamed with a soft glow under the light. Inside, it was engraved with 2 letters, QC. I hurriedly stuffed it into the back of the drawer. Forced myself to forget everything that had happened in that world. I returned to normal life, thesis, job hunting, internships. But on a rainy day, as I passed a puddle, my steps slowed. As if someone might crouch down at any second and say in that familiar, low voice, young lady, let me carry you. When I didn't feel like eating something, I instinctively tossed it to the person beside me. My coworker blinked at me, stunned. Wait, was that a little flirty? I quickly took it back and apologized. On stormy nights, I'd often wake up suddenly and reach for the edge of the bed, only to touch cold air. It was only then I truly realized what that soft yet hard, warm thing I had touched all those nights actually was. I shook my head and forced the memories away. Ding! A familiar electronic chime exploded in my mind. Emergency recall. The villain refuses to turn dark. Plot collapse at 99%. What? The system was exasperated. Who did I offend to deserve this mess? It's been 6 years, and Michael still hasn't made a move on the male lead. Furious, the system snapped, Host, can you go back and provoke him again? Please. I instinctively refused. But, my parents. Don't worry. Time flows differently across parallel worlds. Complete the task, and we'll send you back right away. It won't take long. I thought about all the awful things I'd done to Michael in the past. He must hate me by now. If I go back, won't he just take revenge and kill me? I hesitated. Maybe not. If the mission keeps stalling, the villain will be forcibly erased. Send me. Now. You got it. Transmission initiated. I was back. The overhead lights were so bright I had to raise a hand to shield my eyes. Whispers buzzed around me. She came back? I thought Joyce's family went bankrupt. No idea. Is this reunion hosted by President Jackson? I heard she used to sugar daddy him. He forbade anyone from mentioning her name. Bet he wants her dead. And she still had the nerve to show up at the alumni gala? As my eyes adjusted to the light, I locked eyes with Michael across the room. 6 years had passed. He was no longer the scruffy, sharp-tongued boy from the slums. A tailored suit framed his broad shoulders and narrow waist. Behind gold-rimmed glasses, his gaze was cool and distant. Dennis sat beside him, dressed in an elegant white gown. Graceful. Beautiful. They looked perfect together. For some reason, I felt a bitter sting in my chest. I gathered myself, clutched the wine glass tighter, and walked straight toward Michael, just as the system instructed. But I noticed the tight set of his jaw, the way his eyes darkened. His fingers curled against the table, veins standing out. If I walk over now, will I die from a punch to the face? No. The system paused, voice oddly hesitant. But he does want to kill you. Just a little. Is it too late to turn around? Too late. Because Michael beat me to it. Young lady, he said calmly, long time no see. More murmurs rippled through the crowd. Tisk guessed the rumors were true. President Jackson's clenching his teeth. Looks like Miss White's finished tonight. She's here to humiliate herself, huh? Bullshit. I came here for money. I raised my chin and stared Michael down. President Jackson. When you were my dog, you owed me money. Time to pay up. The ballroom fell dead silent. Dennis gasped, covering her mouth in shock. Oddly, she looked more entertained than offended. Wasn't the heroine supposed to be extremely possessive of the villain? Michael didn't even flinch. He simply rose from his seat with deliberate calm. How much? Wait. Was he always this tall? His presence was absolutely suffocating. 5 million. With interest. I deliberately raised my voice. You're a successful businessman now, aren't you? Don't tell me you can't afford it. I can. But. He curled his lips slightly, mockery gleaming in his eyes. I stiffened. But what? My phone's in the car. Would the young lady mind accompanying me to get it? Of course. The plan was going smoothly, almost too smoothly. Once we were in the car, Michael said, "Oh, right. I forgot the phone. I'll transfer it to you from my villa?" I thought about it. That works. I'd read enough novels to know what this was. The classic humiliation scene. The villain, now rich and powerful, exacts revenge on the wicked woman who once looked down on him. Next up, he'd flaunt his wealth. I, the bankrupt heiress, would be forced to kneel and beg. Everything was unfolding exactly as expected. I felt so clever. The system snorted, "Your obliviousness is truly unparalleled." The car was quiet, until a voice came from the speakers. It was an interview playing on the radio. The host was interviewing young entrepreneur Michael Jackson. In just a few short years, how did you achieve such success? Michael chuckled, because I wanted to become the richest man alive. Wow. That's a bold dream. Was that your childhood goal? Michael replied calmly, no. It was my owner's command. Wow. Any thoughts? The system teased. I thought for a second. So, am I supposed to speak to him the same way as before? If I act just as arrogant and cruel as I used to, he'll realize I haven't changed at all. That I'm still a spoiled brat who only knows how to bully him. Then he'll start to admire Dennis for being kind, and go after her instead. Williams will feel the threat. The two men will fight. Right? The system sounded tired. Is that all you think about, completing your mission? Not exactly. I'm just scared he'll actually kill me. That's all. By the time I snapped out of my thoughts, we had already arrived at Michael's villa. Wait, isn't this where I used to live? In the plot, your family went bankrupt. All your properties were auctioned. Michael bought the villa. Oh, so this is part of his plan to humiliate me, right? The system didn't answer. I looked over at Michael. He loosened his tie. Then took off his watch. His glasses. His jacket. Something felt off. I cleared my throat, ready to unleash a storm of insults. But before I could speak, he walked over and scooped me up in his arms. Wait, what are you doing? Just like he used to, he removed my heels. Slipped soft slippers onto my feet. Then gently massaged my ankle. Been walking all night. You tired? What, is this supposed to be your twisted way of humiliating me? Michael said nothing. So, when will the money arrive in my account? I'm in a hurry. Instead of answering, he asked, the ring, did you see it? I'd brought it with me. It was in my bag. I didn't even know why I brought it. Still, I scoffed, keeping up the bratty heiress act. What ring? You don't actually think I'd keep some cheap thing like that, do you? Michael chuckled lowly. Letting me go, he said, I'm going to take a shower. Something about this felt wrong. The system suddenly offered an unhelpful suggestion, you came empty-handed. If he doesn't transfer the money, you'll have nowhere to stay tonight. What? You should have told me earlier. I did. I told you your family was bankrupt. So can I just go get a hotel room? I suggest checking out your old bedroom first. Michael wasn't around. I got up and walked toward the room I used to call mine. To me, it had only been 2 months. But in this world, it had been 6 years. When Michael bought my old villa, I thought for sure he would have gotten rid of all my stuff. But when I pushed the door open, I froze. Everything was exactly the same as when I left. Exactly. Even the skincare products on the vanity were my usual brands. They looked freshly opened, like they were waiting for me to come back and use them. The closet was full of my old clothes. Transmitting over really was exhausting. So I changed into my old loungewear, deciding to just make do for the night. After all, I was picky about where I slept. And this bed I'd grown attached to, just sitting on it made me want to fall asleep. But when I came out of the shower, Michael was leaning against the doorframe of my bedroom. Wearing only a towel. His damp black hair clung to his forehead, making the tear-shaped mole at the corner of his eye even more bewitching. His abs looked even more defined than before. Beads of water ran down his Adonis belt. My face flushed. I turned away immediately. Why didn't you knock? You didn't close the door. Sit still. He walked over. At some point, he'd picked up a hairdryer. His fingertips brushed the back of my neck, sending shivers down my spine. The warm air was laced with cedarwood and his body wash. His scent overwhelmed all my senses. Our familiar scents tangled quietly in the air. His long fingers ran gently through my hair, so soft it felt unreal. For a moment, it was like we were back in the past. Until he suddenly turned off the dryer, and wrapped his arms around me from behind. Young lady. Michael's burning chest pressed against my back. The ring, it's in your bag. Crap. He never even transferred the money. The mission wasn't complete. When I woke up the next morning, the system didn't nag. It simply commented casually, so, what were you two doing last night? It's hard to guess. Don't be gross. He dried my hair and left. That's it. Really? Didn't he also hand wash your clothes? And cooked you breakfast before going to work? He's basically husband material. I went downstairs. The breakfast was exactly the way I liked it. It really did feel like I had returned to how things used to be. I drank my milk and asked, besides the money, is there any other task? Silence. Then the system came up with another terrible idea. How about drugging him? What? That's illegal. Not like that. Just give him some sleeping pills, unlock his phone, and make the transfer. Easy. I don't have money or a phone. How am I supposed to get pills? I'll handle that. Michael didn't come home that night. Suddenly, my heart felt strangely empty. I decided to sneak into his room and see if he had a backup phone. But what I found was a large glass cabinet. Inside were dozens of gift boxes. Compelled by some strange instinct, I opened one. It was the bank card I had once thrown at him. Happy 22nd birthday, young lady. I never used your money. I saved more and more of my own. It's all here. When are you coming back? I stood frozen. Each box was a gift meant for me. Saw a blue diamond at an auction today. Bought it. Can't wait to put it on your finger. It never feels like enough. Will you like what I picked? I often dream of the days when it was just you and me. Do you think of me too? The cat misses you. The dog does too. It felt like my heart had been soaked in wet cotton, heavy, stifling, and aching. This idiot. Even after all I'd done to hurt him, he still spent years preparing gifts he could never give. And me, after coming back, I was still scheming against him. System, am I a horrible person? But if it meant he could live safely in this world, then I had to grit my teeth and keep completing the mission. That night, Michael came home. I handed him the water the system had prepared. Here. Drink it, now. He lowered his gaze, a hint of confusion in his eyes. I looked away, forcing a glare. What are you staring at? If you won't drink it, I'll pour it out. Don't. Michael took my wrist and drank the whole thing from my hand. Where our skin touched, it burned. I nervously pressed my lips together. Then saw his Adam's apple move as he swallowed. Young lady, what did you put in that water? I panicked. System. Did he figure it out? Oh, oops. I grabbed the wrong drug. Michael's face was starting to flush. He tugged at his collar. Young lady, it's so hot. Even I could tell what kind of wrong drug this was. I grabbed his phone to call the hospital. But every line said they needed emergency scheduling. What do I do? He let go of my hand. I'll take a cold shower. Don't worry, young lady. I won't touch you without your permission. Since when was he so obedient? He wasn't at all like the Michael who once pinned me and kissed me without warning. He staggered toward the bathroom. Water splashed from inside. But I couldn't calm down. I called out for the system, but no response. Michael had been in there a long time. I was going crazy with worry. I cautiously pushed the door open. Only to find him sitting on the floor, his whole body burning up. My heart clenched. Are you still feeling unwell? He held my hand. I'm okay. I'll be fine tomorrow. But his breathing was growing heavier. Suddenly, memories of how cruel I'd been to him came flooding back. All the humiliation. The manipulation. I had braced myself for revenge, had expected him to hurt me back. But instead, I realized, he loved me. I had fooled the system. But I couldn't fool myself. I liked him too. Love, like a cough, couldn't be suppressed. Tears welled up in my eyes. I cupped Michael's face and kissed him. Don't say anything. Just kiss me. But he pushed me away. I don't want to treat you like this. It's too late. I shouted. Michael, I order you to hold me. Kiss me. Young lady. Aren't you my dog? You don't listen to your master anymore? He swallowed hard, eyes darkening. I listen. But I'm afraid, you'll regret it. I won't. The moment I said that, Michael lifted me onto the counter. And then, I lost my breath. As our lips and tongues entwined, I tasted 6 years of repressed hunger. I became equally unhinged. I left my marks on his skin, claimed every part of him. Every inch of me was touched, devoured, overwhelmed. I tilted my head back, gasping, fingers digging into the hard lines of his back as he pulled me deeper into chaos. Water splashed, steam clouded the air. I couldn't tell who lost control first. I only remembered. At the very end, eyes red, he leaned against me. His voice broke apart. This time, don't leave me again. The tears burned hot. Is love always this temperature? When I woke up, it was already afternoon. Michael was gone. He'd probably gone to work. So much energy. The system piped up, sarcastic as ever, thanks for finally waking up. He cut off my signal completely, you know. I rubbed my temples, still groggy. I got up to find some clothes. And spotted all kinds of marks all over my body. I couldn't help but mutter back, didn't you give him the wrong drug? The system snorted, I didn't do a thing. He drank plain water. What? Then why'd he say he was hot? He made himself catch a fever, just to make you worry about him. He was gambling, and you fell for it. He won. So, I might as well tell you everything now. From the system, I finally learned the truth behind it all. This was the 5th reboot of this little world. The first time, I completed my task with Michael and went on to sabotage the male and female leads. But because I was too timid, my character arc ended with me getting hit by a car after being rejected, and dying. After I left, Michael awakened. He waited. He waited for the day he'd succeed and come find me again. But that day never came. So he sabotaged the love story of the leads again and again. And the world had to be reset over and over. 4 times. Eventually, he got the chance to speak to the Lord God. He asked for me to come back. The Lord God said, she humiliated you. Trampled on your dignity. Are you sure you love her? Michael replied, no matter what she's like, I love her. The Lord God sighed, that's not enough. It's not about you loving her, she must love you. If, in the next life, Joyce loves you, then I will bless you both. So Michael's memories were wiped. But this time around, the male lead had been reborn, and did everything he could to avoid me. Afraid the villain would snap again. Because of that, the male lead had no influence on me at all. And I was given the storyline of going abroad and dying in a plane crash. The male and female leads were already happily together. Their child was a year old. But Michael, he was still too smart. Even without his memories, he still fell in love with me at first sight. After I left, he even tracked down the system. Grabbed it by the neck, demanding it bring me back. The system had no choice but to report to the Lord God. The Lord God sighed, a deal's a deal. If Joyce loves him, let her come back one more time. The system had cursed all the way back, seriously? I work my butt off doing tasks, and now I'm part of the love story. It flipped a metaphorical table, great. The only one getting hurt ending has finally been achieved. I quit. The Lord God chuckled, Xiaojiu, should I remind you about your side hustle traveling to many worlds? The system immediately folded, working hard, matchmaker duties and all. If these two want to be together, they need my help. And so, I was brought back once more. But honestly, when I learned that Michael would be erased if he failed the mission, and I chose to return, that was when he'd already won the bet. After hearing everything, I sat in silence for a long time. I had never imagined that Michael could love me this much. Love me enough to challenge the world. Love me enough to endure humiliation, abandonment, and still wait for me. Only me. And do it all 5 times. It felt like my soul had been ironed smooth. I couldn't wait another second to see him. Just then, I heard the click of the door lock. Barefoot, I ran to the door. But before I could reach out, Michael had already pulled me into his arms. What's wrong? He asked, voice low and comforting. My chest ached. I'm a coward. There's something I never told you. What is it? Michael, I like you. Love, without reason. But unforgettable. He asked gently, you know everything now. Yeah. But I'm a terrible person. I approached you with an agenda. Also my parents could live. Michael gently patted my back, his head resting against my shoulder. Of course your parents come first. I'd never blame you. In fact, I think it's beautiful, what you did. They raised someone like you. Someone I got to meet. And besides, hearing you say you like me, that's more than enough. To be liked by the one you love? It's the most beautiful thing in the world. My heart felt whole for the first time. After that, we didn't leave the house for 3 days. We turned all our longing and love into movement. Into possession. He made sure we left traces of ourselves in every corner of the house. While thrusting into me, he asked, "Here, does the young lady like it?" Mist fogged the floor-to-ceiling windows. 5 fingerprints stood out clearly. I gasped, "Can you not be such a crazy dog?" He kneaded the soft flesh at my waist, voice hoarse, "Can't help it. I've always been your dog, haven't I?" Then he transferred everything he owned to my name. "What are you doing? You said, when I was rich, you'd look at me more. I did it. Now I give it all to you, so you'll stay." The warmth in my chest faded. I clenched my fingers. But I couldn't give him any promises. Because my parents still existed in another world. I suddenly felt like a horrible, horrible person. Why couldn't there be 2 of me? Just as tears threatened to fall. The system chimed in, "Ding. Congratulations, host. Final mission complete. You've successfully redeemed the villain. As a reward, the 2 worlds will now merge. Your parents will live here with you. Wishing you all happiness. I broke into a tearful smile. You're leaving now, aren't you? The Lord God caught me freelancing. I'm being reassigned to a loser system. Don't miss me. Okay. Hey, you actually don't miss me? You cold-hearted woman, and that annoying villain of yours, I will never forgive you. Never. Ah, Michael chuckled, hugging me tighter. Next part's not kid-friendly. Better let him go. Humph. Fine. I'm leaving. The system threw one last tantrum. I won't tell you that I spent years saving up all my points, even from side gigs, just to exchange them for the right to let you 2 be together in every lifetime, with endless wealth. Ding. A weight lifted from my mind. The system was gone. Soft-hearted people always cry when saying goodbye. Michael kissed the corner of my eye. I'm here. And now, I can finally say, I'll always be here. But, he still flipped me over more times than I could count. When I was hazy with sleep, my head bumped against something hard. I reached for it. A new ring. Michael knelt on one knee and proposed, "You slept with me. You have to take responsibility now. I've got nothing left. Just you." "What?" Michael bit his lip nervously, black eyes full of cautious hope. "Silly," I said, holding out my left hand. "You've never had nothing." He hugged me tightly. I thought of a poem. What poem? This place was barren. Not a single blade of grass. Then you came, just once. And miraculously, everything began to grow. This place is my heart. I used to think love was just a mission. A series of tasks to complete, a strategy to win. Until he held me. And in his arms, I felt every bit of his warmth, his madness, his tenderness. And his unwavering devotion. Only then did I realize, to be loved this deeply is its own kind of miracle. And now, I can finally say it, out loud and unafraid, this time, I won't leave you again.